Okay, Mexico versus Brazil live watch along U20s. We'll be rooting for Brazil, but it's more of a Mexico hate watch. I want Brazil to do well in the U20 World Cup. I don't know how much I care. The U20 World Cup's an interesting one for me. It's one of those where youth trophies don't really matter. I also don't think it has much of an impact in Brazil at all. I think for the United States to do well, it's far more important. So what I'm hoping for is for the United States to go deeper. But anyhow, US, Brazil, either one. And today it's more of a hate watch for Mexico because they're L3, they're youth merchants, right? They're youth trophy merchants. That's the way to put it. Even though lately they've been kind of ass with that too, but they've done very well in the Olympics, which is a youth tournament. They've done very well in U20s and U17s World Cups, but not at the senior level. Now, the foot mob lineup seems a bit messed up. I'm not familiar with every single player. One of the reasons why I watch the U20 World Cup is to, scout some up and coming talent. But I am familiar with Gilberto Moura and Obed Vargas from Mexico. And as you can see, they're playing on the right wing and left wing, but they're not wingers. What might be happening here is Mexico might be playing for 3-4-2-1, and then Obed and Gil Moura are playing as attacking midfielders, even though Obed Vargas is not really an attacking midfielder. But it doesn't really matter. Now, in terms of Brazil, I know Igor Serrote, that's the right back. He used to play for Grêmio. I believe now he moved to somewhere in the Middle East. Igor Serrote, the right back. The center forward, Luigi, he plays for Palmeiras. He's like a backup. He doesn't play too much for Palmeiras. He's a promising player. But at the end of the day, Brazil is missing a lot of their U20 talent, right? Like, for example, Endrick, Estevão, both of those players would be eligible to play in this tournament. But obviously, they are not here. Now, before we even start, because the game's going to start in like a minute, both teams are already on the field. It's on Fox Sports 1 if you're in the United States. What I wanted to do here is I wanted to show one thing. When we talk about, these tournaments don't matter, the result of these tournaments on its own in isolation, they don't really matter. But as you can see, these were the best players, the golden ball winners of all U20 World Cups from 2001 beyond. And you have some very notable names there, right? Some very notable names. Javier Saviola. If you're not super young, you probably remember Saviola. He was a fantastic forward for he played in La Liga, if I'm not mistaken, Saviola. I was young, so I don't remember too much, but I remember him, I believe I remember him playing for River Plate at some point in Argentina. He was a very good forward. Lionel Messi in 2005. I'm sure you all know Lionel Messi. Sergio Aguero, another big name right there. Henrique Almeida from Brazil is Henrique Ceifador. Many Brazilians probably remember Henrique. He was the Golden Ball winner in 2011. 2013, we had Paul Pogba. You all remember Paul Pogba. 2015, Adama Traoré, probably because he was a bit bigger than the other players. I mean, he's definitely overdeveloped. Adama Traoré. Dominic Solanke, also a player that turned out to be successful. Not Messi, Aguero level, or Paul Pogba, but Solanke's a good Premier League player. Kang In Lee, that I believe he plays for PSG now. Very good South Korean player. And Cesare Casade, that was with Chelsea. I think he plays for Torino now. Maybe he's not turning out to be what many expected, but still some very notable names that have made it through this tournament. Again, it's not like the results of this tournament matter too much, but it's what I was saying before. It's just a good place for you to scout up and coming talent. And today with Mexico, there are specifically three players that probably are the most notable names. Obviously, there's more than that, but I would say Gilberto Moura is one of them, Obed Vargas, and the other one would be, where is he? Montiel, right here, that plays for Pachuca, Elias Montiel. So those would be the three notable names to watch out for Mexico. In terms of Brazil, I'm interested in seeing how Luigi does from Palmeiras because he hasn't been playing for Palmeiras at all. Hasn't really been playing. Where you can watch it, Telemundo or Fox Sports 1. Telemundo or Fox Sports 1, whichever one you want to watch. Okay, the game has started, by the way. We're already almost 2 minutes in. And this is a good opportunity as well to scout the Brazilian players, get to know them a bit better. That's the other thing that I want to do. Tomorrow we have the USA stream also, but that'll be on Tactical Manager TV. The United States will play the almighty New Caledonia. Probably not a good team. Probably a game you have to beat them by a lot of goals. That's probably what we should be doing anyway. I'm interested also in seeing the 10 for Brazil, João Cruz, that plays for Atlético Paranaense. Ryan Lucas also, he is from Sporting B. He's 20 years old, and he's a central defensive midfielder. Now, one player that many talk about very often in Brazil, he actually didn't even make he is on the bench. It's Eric Belle from Palmeiras. He's 18, and people speak very highly of him, so hopefully he comes in. If he goes into this game, he's number 20. If he goes into the game, he is number 20. He's asking, what do you use to edit your videos? I don't edit my videos. If you want to ask that, that's the guy right there that's in the chat, Dustin. If you want to know more about editing, you ask him. He's in the chat, so ask him. He'll probably respond to you. But going back here, so Eric Belle, that's on the bench for Brazil's player that I'm interested in watching. David Washington, too. He was playing for Chelsea at some point, or at least he was at Chelsea's academy, right? So that's another interesting player to watch out for. I think he's with Santos now. I don't know how he's doing lately. Santos, I've been trying to watch with Neymar. Neymar's been injured a lot. But here comes Brazil with the ball, 3 minutes into the game. This tournament is being played in Chile, and I'm looking here at the stands. It's not sold out, but you got a good amount of people. Considering this is the first game of the tournament, and it doesn't really involve Chile, this is pretty good attendance for this game. Pretty good attendance for this game. I know it's Brazil and Mexico, so it's not like two scrub teams. But, okay, Gilberto Moura out wide. Here comes Mexico. And like I said, if you don't know these players, the ones to watch for Mexico are Montiel Elias Montiel, Gilberto Moura, and Obed Vargas. And if you're wondering their numbers for Mexico, it's number 11. 11 is probably the most promising player of them all, Gilberto Moura, because he already starts for the senior team. He played very well in the Gold Cup for the senior team. That's Gilberto Moura. That's number 11. Number 8, their captain, is definitely a player to watch out for. And 18, Obed Vargas. Obed Vargas did well in the Club World Cup for anyone that watched. He did very well while playing for the Seattle Sounders. Okay, the ball goes all the way back to the goalkeeper here for Mexico. 4 minutes and 45 seconds right now. So Gilberto Moura is playing as an attacking mid. He's playing much more advanced. And honestly, it makes sense. The guy's a good pass, good in tight spaces, good long-range shot. Now, one thing that's interesting here is the Brazilian players. Anyone that's in the chat that's watching the game, don't the Brazilian players look a lot bigger than the Mexican players? They look a lot bigger. And if you guys just tuned in, make sure to drop a like in the video. If you haven't already, just drop a like, and that's all. That helps us quite a bit here at the channel. What I'll put on screen soon is Transfermarkt put the market value of all the national teams in the U-20. Not all, the top 10. And Mexico is actually number 4. It's Argentina first, Brazil second, Spain 3, Mexico 4, USA 5, Italy 6. I wonder if was Luca Coleosho called in for Italy? I don't even know if Coleosho is a U-20 player anymore. Oh, they played today. Italy already played. No Coleosho. No. I don't think he's eligible for the U-20s. He's the Italian-American. Say the average height of the Mexican team is like 5'7". Yeah. Brazil is kind of mixed up, right? Brazil's kind of mixed up because with Brazil, you have short people, tall people. So much more. Would Brazil be? Yeah, Brazil is definitely more diverse than Mexico. From a general standpoint, yeah, the Mexican population is not super tall. Brazil, you get multiple different heights, and this Brazilian team is pretty big, especially compared to the Mexican side right now. They're saying Kylo's saying Mexicans don't grow till their 30s, bro. That is not true. Oh, crap. What happened here to score? What happened to score? They definitely grow before that. It's not the tallest population, right? There's not. I can look it up. Average height Mexico. Let's see. Average man height Mexico. So the average male height in Mexico is 5'7". Now in Brazil, let's see Brazil. Oh wow, Brazil's 5'8". So it's essentially the same. 5'7", 5'8", it's the same thing. It's essentially the same. And Mark saying, what would be the top 5 best players to watch in this U20s? So I haven't really looked through all the rosters, so I don't know about the other national teams. But speaking today, from Mexico, Gilberto Moura for sure is a player I'm definitely going to be watching out for, um, just because he was really good for Mexico's senior team. So, and he is rumored to be going to some pretty big clubs in Europe, like PSG, Man United. They're all watching him. For Brazil, I told you Luigi, the center forward. That's one player that I'm watching out for, and it's probably a little bit because I'm a Palmeiras fan, right? That's the main thing. I'm a Palmeiras fan, so I'm probably going to be scouting Luigi for that main reason. I don't get to watch him much for Palmeiras because Palmeiras is stacked. The roster is stacked, so I don't get to watch him much. Obed Vargas from Mexico is another player I'm keeping track of for sure, mainly because he was developed in the U.S., right? He's a player that still plays for the Seattle Sounders. And I'm trying to think the other national teams. I'm sure. Let me look at Argentina's roster because Argentina is definitely a team. So Argentina is actually playing right now against Cuba. Argentina has who's playing for Argentina? Let me look at Argentina's roster and see if there's any young prospect that I know. I know Echeverri, he's not there because he's with Leverkusen. So Echeverri is not. Oh, I'll put it this way: for the United States, Diego Cochin, the goalkeeper from Barcelona, was a player I was looking forward to. I kind of want to see Cole Campbell. Cole Campbell is with Borussia Dortmund, and he'll play for the United States. I want to see what he can do. Right? We haven't been able to see much from Cole Campbell, so that's another player to watch out for. But in terms of Argentina, I guess Maier Carrizo, the right winger from Vélez, that's an interesting player, 19-year-old. He's pretty good. So say Maier Carrizo would be one that I'll be watching for. Alvaro Montoro, the attacking mid from Botafogo. Oh, Mexico scored. Mexico just scored. Who scored for them? Was it Dominguez? It was Jimenez or Figueroa. I can't tell who scored, but Mexico just got the lead. Now, in terms of Argentina that I'm looking here. All right, let's see here. What the hell happened to Brazil? So, good play down the right from Mexico. Gilberto Moura gets it down the right flank. He crosses it in. Header goes in, headed, saved by the goalkeeper. And who was there to hit that rebound? So the header was from Jimenez. The goal was scored by Figueroa, the right winger from Pachuca, 20-year-old right winger from Pachuca. But a good cross from Gilberto Moura. Yeah, Mexico, these tournaments are teams you've got to always be careful with. When it comes to these tournaments, you always got to be careful with Mexico. Brazil's okay. Back here to the game. 10 minutes in. Mexico's U20s 1, Brazil 0. Ball goes long. It's interesting how they're playing. I don't watch Gilberto Moura. Moura assist. No, Moura didn't get the assist. He crossed it, and Jimenez headed the ball. It was saved by the goalkeeper, and then Figueroa scored off a rebound. So technically, there was no assist because it was off a rebound. But Moura was the one that got the cross. So you could argue that Gilberto Moura created the play. I think that would be fair. We could put it that way. But no, it wasn't an assist. It was a goal. It was an assistless goal, if we could put it that way. 1-0 Mexico. Hockey assist? No, it's not really a hockey assist. It almost is, but it isn't. Right? It's I guess we can put a quotation mark hockey assist because there was no assist. That's the problem. It was off a rebound. But Mexico now in possession. The thing with these tournaments is, believe it or not, when it comes to U-20 World Cups, U-17 World Cups, Mexico actually is usually among the favorites to win it. Believe it or not, they're youth trophy merchants. Oh, Gilberto Morra almost scored a golazo for Mexico. My goodness. Let me see one thing here. Mexico U-20 World Cup trophies. They've won the U-20 World Cup before, Mexico. Oh no, they never won the U-20. They reached the final in 1977 and third place in 2011. So it was a U-17. Mexico, I think U-17. Yes, so they won the U-17 twice. They won the U-17 twice. Okay, there you go. That's what I was getting confused. You know what's crazy about this channel is we kind of started it just looking towards the World Cup, and not it's not taking too long for us to hit what? We're almost hitting 11,000 subscribers here. Yassine saying, can you make a video breaking down the Brazilian league and their teams? I was wondering which team to support as a Manchester United fan who also likes Real Madrid. That's an interesting question. I would have to find a way to make the overall video interesting. What would be the catch? I could make it about the Brazilian league. Sure. We could talk about, or maybe not the whole Brazilian league. I can maybe make a video about Brazil's Big 12. Because the Brazilian league is an interesting one. We don't really have two powerhouses or three or four. Brazil has what many consider a Big 12. Now, sure, nowadays Palmeiras and Flamengo seem to be a bit ahead, but I could make a video about the Big 12, and that might be enough for you to pick one club. Because essentially you'd be looking towards the clubs from the south of Brazil, like Grêmio, Internacional. You'd look from the Big Four from Rio, which would be Flamengo, Vasco, Fluminense, Botafogo. From São Paulo, it would be São Paulo, Corinthians, Palmeiras, and Santos. Then you can get Cruzeiro and Atlético Mineiro, and then there's a few other options here and there, but those would be the main clubs of Brazil, right? Then there's like clubs that are a bit smaller but do well too, because Brazil's a very unpredictable league. Like Mirassol is in fourth place right now. This is not a team known for being very successful in Brazil. And in São Paulo, you have other teams like Red Bull, for example. They're from the state of São Paulo. I guess we should make a video probably on the Big 12. I think that would be fair. Make a video on the Big 12. That would probably be something we should look into to do in the future, or not even the future, soon. By the way, everyone, if you then we have 27 likes. Thank you very much. Let's try to hit 30 or 40 likes or something like that as the stream goes on. Brazil the ball once again. Igor Serrotti down the right for Brazil. Tries a 1-2, still has the ball. Brazil hasn't done jack crap so far. Not that Mexico has done much, but they scored. So can't really say they haven't done crap when they actually scored. An open play goal. An open play goal. Brazil here in possession, 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Mexico sitting very deep right now. By the way, the people that are in the chat right now, are you guys in Brazil or in the United States or in Mexico? Brazil, United States, Mexico, where are you guys located? Since the chat is much smaller than at our other channel, Tactical Manager TV, I can interact with you guys more. So where are you guys based right now? Let's see. I prefer take on Brazilian and Latin American footy as opposed to Yankee Connect footy talk. Vivega, are you oh, you're from Northern California, but what is your I guess your dual nationality or your parents? Are you just straight up American, or are your parents migrants? Because that might help understand the difference. Because my takes, they're similar but different at the same time, because the standard you hold the Brazilian national team is different from what you hold the United States. It's simply different. Same thing goes for Mexico. So it depends a lot on what national team. Oh, Brazil. Okay, blocked. That was a corner, dangerous play. It depends a lot on which ones you're talking about and where you're from. But talking about different national teams, you have different standards, different ways you see it. And let me see here. USA, Caribbean. You're from the Caribbean. Where in the Caribbean, Yassine, specifically? Are you in Jamaica? Northern California, USA, California, Mars. Steven's in Mars. Okay, I didn't know they had Wi-Fi there. I know people live there, but I didn't know they had Wi-Fi. California, Arizona, US, Texas. Oh, you're working, washing the dish. What do you got? The earphones on? uh, he's at work. Okay, so if you're at work, you might not be able to watch the game. So 1-0 Mexico so far, just to update you. If you're currently at work. Trinidad. So you're from Trinidad. Jamaica's rivals, actually, Trinidad and Tobago. Carlos, no, you're not in Milan. Trinidad and Tobago is right by Venezuela. Is it? Is it that close to Venezuela? And Tiffany's in New York City. So everyone here is American. There are no Brazilians here. There are no Brazilians. And Victor is saying, where can I watch the game? Victor, depends on where you are. If you're in the United States, you can watch the game at FS1, so Fox Sports 1, if you're in the United States of America. Now, if you are not in the United States, I don't know. If you're in Brazil, I think it's at Cazé TV. I think that's where it is in Brazil. Angel is saying, hey, Tack, I have a big interview in 2 weeks for my dream job. Oh, I'm wishing you a lot of luck. If you don't mind sharing, um, what is your profession? What do you work with? You don't have to share details. And the VAR is reviewing this. Might be a penalty kick for Brazil. It's supposedly a handball. Saying Puerto Rican American Angelo Bolavial. What is your profession? What do you work with? Guatemalan American, Italian American. Is that a penalty for Brazil? No, no call. Oh no, they're giving the penalty? I mean, look, it was a handball, but I don't know if I would call that a penalty kick. South Korea lost to Ukraine. That's shocking. I wouldn't say that's shocking. I wouldn't say it's shocking. Ukraine's not the worst team, and South Korea is not a powerhouse. I wouldn't call it shocking. I think when you look at the matchup, South Korea and Ukraine, whoever wins, it's not really, it's whatever. I would say at the senior level, South Korea might be the slight favorites, but if Ukraine wins, it's not an upset. Let me actually look here at the U-20 World Cup because there's been a few games already that happened and are happening. So Morocco defeated Spain. That's for Brazil and Mexico's group. Morocco defeated Spain. Argentina is defeating Cuba, but now Argentina is playing man down. So Argentina is defeating Cuba. Chile, the host nation, won the first game. They defeated New Zealand. Paraguay defeated Panama. Ukraine defeated South Korea. Italy barely defeated Australia 1-0. And Japan defeated Egypt 2-0. Igor Serrotti with a cross. Shot from the outside. Was that a goal? How did the ball hit the net? What? Did you guys see that goal? It was a beautiful goal, but what happened? It was Coutinho. Coutinho that scored. The defensive midfielder from Palmeiras. But it looked like the ball hit the post. For anyone watching, because it doesn't, like, it goes in, it doesn't hit the net. It hits, it hit the metal bar on the back of the net. So it barely touched the net. It hit like the back bar and came out. But it was a goal. A beautiful goal. What a freaking strike. What a terrible clearance. Who's number 6 for Mexico? Garza. Cesar Garza. He plays for Dundee FC. Speaking of Dundee, I started watching The Office again, but what a terrible clearance. Kylo's saying Pulisic winning the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, listen, he's not winning the Ballon d'Or. The only way, if you guys think Pulisic has a shot on winning the Ballon d'Or, the only way that could happen is if he wins the Serie A with Milan, wins the Italian Cup, has like over 40 goal contributions, and he somehow wins the World Cup with the US, balling out in the World Cup, scoring like 5 to 8 goals in the World Cup, and the US wins it. If you think that can happen, then sure, Pulisic could win the Ballon d'Or. But let's be real. It's not going to happen. So Brazil won. Mexico also won. Okay, Brazil here at the ball. Down the right, Igor Serrote wins it. Brazil in possession. Brazil, after they conceded the goal, they've been complete control of the game. They just moved the ball with much more purpose than Mexico. And I'm pretty sure Brazil has dominated possession. I know Serrote is a bit of a psychopath on defense, a bit of a crazy player, but this dude is just not good on the ball. Just not good enough. The right back for Brazil. They said what? He made Pulisic wouldn't get into Argentina's 26-man squad. Um, Under the current form, do you truly believe that Pulisic wouldn't get into Argentina's 26-man squad? Do you truly believe that? Because let's look at Argentina's last call up. Could Pulisic not get called in over like Thiago Almada? Okay, so Argentina called up players that play out wide on the wing or even central, right? Messi, obviously, Pulisic ain't starting over Messi. That's not happening, right? You're saying, Uncle Tack, are you 30? No, I'm pretty far from 37. I don't even turn 37 this decade. No, I'm not close to 37. Um, but going on here, Argentina squad, Mastantuono. I mean, higher ceiling than Pulisic, but Pulisic would get called in over Mastantuono. Giuliano Simeone, Thiago Almada, Lo Celso, Echeverri, Nico Paz. I'm sorry, Pulisic would probably get called in. Pulisic would probably get called in. Tack is between 28 to 32. That is accurate. That is accurate. Yeah, Pulisic would make the Argentina roster under his current form. He would. He wouldn't start for Argentina, but he would make the roster. In my opinion, of course, right? Now, whether Argentina would actually call him up or not, well, since everyone here is American, y'all may know I still have to work on the USMNT Abroad episode, by the way. It'll be out tomorrow morning. I still have to work on it. Okay, Brazil here in possession. Brazil goes out wide. A lot of space. I mean, who here is actually watching the game? Because Brazil is clearly the better side, despite the results so far. They're saying, Tack, you went to your high school reunion, and if you did, what was it like? No, I didn't go. I don't even know if my high school had a reunion. I moved around too much when I was in high school. I went to 3 different high schools. So when it comes to high school, I don't really have like high school friends. I have a lot of middle school friends and I have a lot of college friends, but I don't have many high school friends. I moved around too much. I didn't stay long enough to really, really be connected with people. Tack, we know you watch the Mexican Premier League when you're not making video. Mexican Premier League? You guys have a Mexican Premier League? You guys, you mean Liga MX? I was trying to look it up. If you guys have a Premier League now, or you're talking about Liga MX? How many subscribers are you right now? Did we hit 11,000 yet? Not yet. We haven't hit we haven't done it yet. Let me check. Right now on this channel, we're like super close to hitting 11,000. Super close. Right now and on this channel we are at let me see. 10,975. We're 25 subscribers away from 11,000, which is kind of crazy. Okay, what is a UNC? Uncle that they say. How old do you have to be a UNC? How old do you have to be? Because I keep getting called a UNC or an UNC, I guess. I say UNC. Some people say UNC. I don't know why they just don't say uncle. Yeah, Murillo said, asking, did you see Zendeja's goal? I saw his goal. I'm just wondering if he tried to chip the goalkeeper or if he tried to cross it. 25 plus is an unk. So yeah, I'm an unk. I'm an unk. Yeah, so originally when they said UNC, I thought they were talking about UNC, the University of North Carolina. I did not go to UNC. You thought Unk was a nickname for. Did they call Jack an Unk also? Do they actually call Jack an Unk also? I didn't know that. I should ask him. I don't know you guys called Jack from Deadball TV an Unk. Anyone younger than you? There's a lot of people younger than me. Marco Carmona, thank you for the super chat. He's saying, if you are next to the Mexican border like me, then you get the game for free on channels 11 or 1-1, 5-1 with Televisa or 48-1 with his Telemundo. Okay, everyone. So there you have it. If you are next to the Mexican border, Marco, I'm assuming that's with an antenna. Who here is next to the Mexican border? Anyone here from San Diego? Anyone in Texas near the Mexican border? I'm very far from the Mexican border. I'm in Florida. I'm older than Pete? No, I'm not older than Pete. Pete's like, I think Pete is 7 years older than me. I think he's 7 years older, 6 or 7. I am not older than Pete. Pete is older, wiser, and more experienced. No, Pete's not 40. Pete's not 40. I think Pete is 36. I think. Or 35. Pete's like 35 or 36. Something like that. Mexico here in possession. Okay, Mexico down the right. Cross goes in, straight into the Brazilian goalkeeper's hands. Pete looks like he's 50. Oh, yeah. It was the I think the Berhalter era made us all age. Well, I mean, look, we can. Why don't we pull up Pete's old videos, we can see how much Pete aged um, due to Greg Berhalter. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I don't know if Pete still has them. Oh, he does. He does. Do you guys want me to pull up Pete's very first video? Since we're all American here, look at me. Do I look like an unk? Do I look like an unk? I don't even look that old. If I shave my beard, I'll probably look like I'm in my 20s. But this is Pete's first video. See, he looked very young. This is Pete's first video ever. It was, holy shit, 5 years ago. My goodness, it was in the middle of. Can you guys believe it that we're like 5 years after the pandemic? 5 freaking years. This was Pete 5 years ago. It's insane. It's even scary. When I looked at this and saw 5 years ago, I was like, holy shit. How the heck is that 5 years ago? Right here. Look at right here. 5 years. It's a long time. That's a long ass time. Can you guys believe it that we started Tactical Manager TV 5 years ago? And then now obviously we started Chappelle this year essentially, right? This channel. Just to cover Brazil a bit more because we didn't want to cover it at Tactical Manager TV. But can you believe that? And this was Pete's channel that they took down. Let's go back to Pete's. Remember when Pete had the where is it?
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back.
He couldn't get a haircut. He couldn't get a haircut because of COVID at the time. He couldn't get a haircut because everything was closed. They shut down everything. They're saying the pandemic was yes, which is wild. It's crazy that it's been 5 years. It is free. Oh, Brazil and Mexico recovers the ball. 34 minutes. 34 minutes. And you said Pete looked happy. Yeah, I think we all were happier. Not because we were locked in. That was well, actually, I think at least myself when I started the channel with Dustin, Tactical Manager TV, I'm pretty sure Florida was opening already. Florida was open already. So I was already getting my life back. So I guess I was happy. Look at this. This is crazy. Brian is saying, Tack, I started watching when I was 14. Now I'm 18, about to turn 19. Holy crap. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Like you were a teenager, essentially a kid, when you started watching Tactical Manager TV covering the US men's national team. And then now you're 19. Next year in the World Cup, you're 20, essentially a grown man watching the show. It's pretty freaking crazy how time went by. 5 years ago. I think I never really thought about that even, that it's been 5 years since we started Tactical Manager TV and how much it grew. We have a team in the TST, how the channel grew, sponsors, crazy moments like the Copa America final, crazy moments like meeting Pep Guardiola, all in 5 years. It's pretty nuts. Pretty freaking nuts. It's crazy because we don't even know if we're going to still be doing this in 5 years, right? 5 years, we're in 2025. 5 years would be the 2030 World Cup, after the 2030 World Cup. I hope we're still around, but you never know. I'm going to skip your question, Natal. I'll put it on screen and people can respond it themselves. We probably needed Spicy Jeff for this one. We likely needed Spicy Jeff to answer this one, but I'm going to skip it. Victor, too. Look at this. He was watching since he was like 15, 16. He's turning 19 on Friday. Happy early birthday. because I won't be seeing you on Friday. So happy birthday. It's pretty crazy, right? How time flies. It's kind of weird when I think even about the year of the pandemic. I don't have a vivid memory of it. It's like things just got really weird after, and everything just started to fly by super quick. If I try to remember every single year, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, it's very hard to remember everything that happened. Well, in the past, it seemed like things were slower. Or maybe I'm just going insane. Either one. Igor Sehati, the cross. Luigi misses the shot. And Mexico will play out of the back here. Ball wide. Gilberto Moura drifts inside for Mexico. 38 minutes. Look at this. This is wild, too. And Angela Bovio, I don't know how to, or Angel. I'm just going to call Angel. I'm assuming your name is Angel. Said he watched me and P when he had just turned 21. Good. That means you could have started drinking with this U.S. men's national team that stresses us out so much. And now you're 26. Going for an interview is your dream job, which hopefully, Angel, hopefully next year at some point you send us a chat here to me and Pete just saying, hey, now I'm 27 watching you guys, and I got my dream job. When I started watching, I was 21. I'm assuming you were in college back then when you were 21. And then now you're working for your dream job, whatever it is. James asking how far does Brazil go next summer? As I said many times, I think Brazil will win the next World Cup. The saying, Tack, do you know the 67 meme? I do not. People were bombing me about that meme in the U.S. national team live stream we did. I don't know what it is. I also didn't care to look it up, so I don't know. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. Well, I think Palmeiras will be in the Libertadores final. Yeah, so what Marco said, the channels that he said, if you're in the border with Mexico, you need an antenna, which, by the way, I just bought an antenna because I want to have one for the World Cup. So future USA games, I'll have an antenna here. So everything should be good. I should be live. I should be ahead of you guys. I should be the antennas usually even in the future. You know things happen before they happen. Which, by the way, everyone, it's 7:45 p.m. my time. There's a chance I might just stop the stream at halftime for one reason. I kind of need to finish the USMNT Abroad episode. I don't want to finish it super late. I have the notes. The draft is done. I still have to organize my thoughts and kind of structure it and then record it. That all takes some time. And then, Dustin has to edit it. So got some work to do there for the USMNT Abroad so we can get the episode early tomorrow. But let's at least finish the first half. Let's finish the first half. Cross goes in, blocked. Dustin is the one that edits all the videos for Chappelle and Tactical Manager TV. He edits both. Very well edited. So when you see the videos, I don't edit the videos. But he might be asleep. Because he's in Germany. So Germany right now, it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. maybe. It's late. That's all you need to know. Do you realize how much you interrupt or repeat yourself when you have a guest on? No, not really. The thing is, it's like there's many different approaches of how you conduct an interview or a podcast. It also depends if it's an interview, if it's a discussion. Like when I had Alexi Lalas, some people said they loved it. Some people said that I interrupted him. Yeah, if I disagreed with him, I interrupted him because he does say a lot of nonsense. And you can't just let him sometimes roll with it, right? But no, overall, the feedback when it comes to what's the name, to interviews or when I have guests, overall the feedback has been positive for the most part. Angel saying, with this job, I will also be leaving my city of Miami. Oh, you're leaving Miami. Do you like Miami, by the way? I visited Miami many times, and I actually very much enjoy Miami. Great food, beach, weather. I like Miami. Brazil here in possession. Ball goes forward. Luigi has absolutely no one. Absolutely no one. That'll be a throw in for Brazil. Atao, you went from the most unserious comment to the most serious comment. Atao's a great guy. No, but in terms of like the whole thing of interrupting guests, it just kind of depends. And one thing I've noticed too is you should always look through the comments and you should reflect if you should do something better or different. But ultimately, the best metric for any content creator to see if people are enjoying their content or not is if the views are going up, the engagement, likes, and all that. If people are enjoying it and you're doing something right, you got to just keep going with it, right? You got to just keep doing what you're doing and not really listen to whatever people are criticizing. Now, I've heard some comments of that they want the guests to talk more, and I've heard plenty that loved it the way it is. So, considering the views are how they are, they've been growing steady, right? Steadily growing. I'm just gonna keep doing it the way it is. Some of them I let talk. Like when I bring Tom Byer, I let him talk a lot. Brian is saying, Tack, I'm gonna be honest, Miami's a nightmare. It got way too overrated in there. I miss when Miami was what Miami was 10 years ago. The first time, well, I went to Miami as a kid, obviously. Well, not obviously, right? I didn't live in Florida. I lived in as a kid, like kindergarten, I lived in California. We lived a little bit in Brazil then, and then New York, and then Florida, but I'd never lived in Miami. But as an adult, the first time I went to Miami was 2015. I think it was like spring break of 2015. And I love Miami. I still love it, but it's grown a lot since. A lot of new buildings, much more crowded and more expensive than before. But I do love Miami. At least every time I go there, I have a good time in Miami. Still 1-1. We're now in added time in the first half. Mexico here in possession with 2 minutes to go in the first half. So overall, very balanced first half, but in terms of individual players, Brazil does seem to have a bit more quality than Mexico. And about Gil Moura, we have to watch more games here. He was all right. Like the goal that Mexico scored, he played a role, right? The cross came from him. It was a very nice cross. But outside of that, not much can be said about the Mexican players. They were okay. Didn't really play as well as I would expect. Because Mexico, as I said, they usually come in as like contenders for these tournaments, these youth tournaments, right? Rob is saying, Tack, who from this Brazil roster will be the next Brazilian superstar? They're not here, Rob. The players are not here. Like Endrick, Estevão, and many others we could talk about. They're not with this team. So Brazil doesn't have their main superstars here. I don't think there's any player that will be a superstar out of this roster for Brazil, but there's definitely a few players that could possibly be in the roster in the future. But superstar, nah. Yeah, Miami, they're saying it's overcrowded. Well, if you just look at Miami population and you look at the graph for Miami population, Miami in 2015, Miami, and this is not greater Miami, right? We're talking just about the city of Miami. It had 400,000, 487,000 around 20. Okay, let's go 2015. Yeah, 2015, 437. Now it's at 500,000. Didn't grow that much. It grew like 100,000, but I guess greater Miami would be the question here. 6.46 million. Yeah, a lot of people moved into Miami. A lot of people. Yeah, Obed Vargas hasn't done much today, has he? Haven't seen Obed Vargas do much. Yeah, there's a lot of Brazilians in Boca also. Boca Raton. There's a lot of Brazilians there as well. Orlando. Miami itself, not so much. Only like very rich, very wealthy Brazilians. Miami has become very expensive. Even traveling there, I see that. I like the city. I like the vibe of Miami. I like the food. I like the beach. But yeah, Miami has become much more expensive than it once was, for sure. By the way, the first half just ended here for Brazil versus Mexico. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go finish the abroad. I'm going to have the game on, but I'm going to finish the USMNT abroad to release the episode tomorrow at Tactical Manager TV. Also, because I need a rest, because tomorrow we actually have the US versus New Caledonia stream. We have to do the whole US New Caledonia, which the US should run over New Caledonia. They should, because it could come down to goal differential, but we'll see. The US national team will debut tomorrow in the U-20 World Cup. All right, everyone, I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning with the USMNT Abroad episode, and then at night for the stream. Okay? Ciao.